Test, test, test. This is not the right way to do it. Everything is working correctly. It's time to start the video. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, The Journey to Success. If it's your first time, well, hello. My name is Joyeuse and I just started with this YouTube channel about 3 weeks ago. And if you're a subscriber here, well, welcome back, babes. On this channel, I will show you guys what success means to me, how I am going to achieve that success. Because most of the times what I see is when people have already achieved it and then they're going to show everybody how they did it. But I actually want to show you guys the journey towards it because, as I said, it's a journey. I don't know everything. Like I said, it's a journey. I don't know everything. I don't think I will ever know everything, but I'm just here to learn and also, help to guide you guys towards that step. And as you've seen on the title, we're going to talk about books today. We're going to talk about the top 5 books that have changed my life. Unfortunately, there are 2 books, actually the top 2, that I don't have anymore. Well, one of them I actually lent out to a dear friend, so I know I will get that one back. And the other one, I don't know, lost it. Lost it maybe during the move, because I moved a couple of times the past 3 years. So, unfortunately, but I can still show you guys with some pictures, so no worries then. So the first one is The Alchemist. And let me tell you, that is like one of my favorite books. I read that book. Well, my ex-boyfriend actually had that book and I read it. And I immediately bought a copy of my own. Because that book, it really helped me to find out what I really wanted. Because I just finished acting school and I didn't know what I wanted to do after that. I knew I wanted to do something in music, but I just didn't have the balls yet. So I read that book in my in-between year. And that's when I started reading The Alchemist. And this book is basically about a boy that is going on a journey to find his purpose in life. So you will basically go on this journey with him about finding your purpose. So why do you meet the certain peoples that you meet? Why do you make certain choices that you make? Everything has a consequence, but at the same time, what is meant to be will be. Either way you choose path A or path B, it will eventually end up at your end destination where you're supposed to be. So this book really helped me to find my purpose, what I really wanted. So every time that I feel down or I just don't know it anymore what I have to do, I would just read that book again because it's like a really small book. It's super beautiful. And it would give me the power again to be like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter which path I take. It doesn't matter what kind of choice I make. Eventually, if it feels good to me, I will get to where I'm destined to be. So yeah, that's book number 1. Book number 2 is also a book that I lent out. But this book, you guys, that's when I started really, really understanding consciousness and unconscious behavior. Because this book, it's called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And I think he's now one of the bigger writers when it comes to awareness, consciousness, and stuff like that. He's even on the album of Kendrick Lamar. What? What? So that already says a lot. But besides that, Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. That's when I really knew, okay, everything that happens in my mind, I'm fabricating it. That was the first time that I had the ability to look at my thoughts and say, whoa, wow, those are my thoughts and that is not per se who I am. And this book, I read it about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. It was during the pandemic. Actually, a dear friend of mine also read it, and we were blown away. We were telling everybody to read this book because this will change your life. And it's amazing how he talks about how even when you have like an injury in your body, that the moment you say to everybody, yeah, I have this injury, so I am like this and this and this, you're identifying with it. Well, it's just the injury that you have at the moment. It doesn't mean that that is everything you are. And that is so powerful. So, also something that has happened to you in the past. So, for example, in my past, I've had a lot of abuse. That doesn't mean that I am a person that only identifies with abuse. You know, that's how eventually a lot of the traumas that I had, I was able to really give it a spot in my life and just heal from that, because that book is so powerful. If you haven't read it, I think I would actually put that one on number one, A New Earth, and then The Alchemist on number two, because it's amazing. It's amazing what you can learn from that. And if you're not such a reader, you can also listen to books. I think there are a lot of apps for that. I will also link a few in the description below. But A New Earth, if you have the chance, read it, because if you're not aware of life, of everything you can achieve just by training your mind, this book, it'll make sure you get into that. And then on number three, I would say it's the book Daring Greatly. This book is by Brene Brown. And this book, I read it in a period of time where I know I'm an emotional person and that I wear everything on my sleeve, literally everything. I'm so honest about how I feel. That at some point that some people would say like, oh, you're very naive, or you're so emotional. Why are you so emotional? Even my own family would call me emotional, and like in a negative way. So I would always try to suppress that, emotional, sensitive side of me, because I want to be tough, and when you're doing a school like acting school or, performing school, everybody's like tough, they got it all on order. You don't cry during your dance class. You don't cry. You don't during your singing class. Nothing of that. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then I found this book, Daring Greatly. How the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. Because of this book, I literally had the strength to just show my vulnerability and be really, really proud of that. So I think a lot of my friends even know me as like, okay, she is not afraid to show her emotions. And sometimes that terrifies people, because people will be like, whoa, she's very open. And sometimes it also brings me in situations where people really love to talk about me. Like strangers on the street will come up to me and just tell their life story just like that, because I'm so open, because I finally had the courage to really step into that vulnerability and see it as a power. And the crazy thing about stepping into your power of vulnerability is that I don't even cry that much when I feel emotional about something. It was more so that sometimes I would get mad and I would cry. And that was because I didn't know a healthy way of showing anger. In our household, there was a lot of anger. But how I would show it is through tears, to show them, hey, I don't want this. But by Daring Greatly, by this book, I really had the power to channel it into something different and into something positive and into something super powerful. And then on number 4, this book is such a delicious book. This is The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. This book is by Mark Manson. A counterintuitive approach to living a good life. I read this book about 4 years ago, or maybe 5 even. It was in my first year of performing art school. And I was thinking a lot about what people thought of me. People were looking at me because I had just started at school with zero experience in dance. I had never taken like ballet classes, jazz classes, tap dance, Latin. Never had any of those classes. So I was all the time comparing myself to other people and feeling like I was being judged. So this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, basically taught me that everybody else is already minding their own business and being in their head. And at the end of the day, if people have something to say about me, it more so says something about them. Because they're busy trying to project that something, maybe a fear or an opinion that they have onto me. So yeah, it's basically about stop trying to avoid really hard situations. Just face those hard situations like bullseye and see what happens if you're really that terrified. And eventually, Will Smith says it beautifully. On the other side of fear, wow, you have a beautiful canvas. So yeah, this book, if you just don't want to be if you don't want to be consumed by other people's opinion, you want to do what you want to do and really stand boldly and confident in that, read this book. It will make you stronger. It will make you happier. It will for sure make you want to do this all day to people because you won't give an F anymore, for real. And then the last book. And this book is more so an educational book, but then on how to communicate. So this is the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is a really old book, over 70 years in print. And I think this was one of the first books that I actually bought, like of my older self. I think I was 20. This is an amazing book if you're having a hard time communicating with people, or once again thinking too much about what other people think of you, but more so wanting to say certain things but don't know how to say them and how they will come across to some people. So in this book, he will teach you the 6 ways to make people like you, the 12 ways to win people to your way of thinking, and the 9 ways to change people without arousing resentment. So one of the things I still do that I picked up out of this book is remembering people's name. I have a really difficult name. I know that. Well, I don't think it's that difficult, but by some people it may be perceived as a difficult name, especially if you look at it, how you write it and how you say it, especially here in the Netherlands. So I've had a lot of times that people were wow. So I had a lot of times that people would pronounce my name wrong. And to be fair, if people would do that, it would make me feel some type of way, because it would make me feel like people did not care about who I was. People did not care about my name. By remembering someone's name, something so simple, you're basically showing them, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm listening to you. I'm giving you my attention. And I think that's so great about, even if you would ask someone again their name while you're talking to them, it shows them that you're interested in what that person has to say. You're showing your respect. And I think showing someone that you're attentive to them and you're listening is one of the most beautiful things you can do. So I would definitely suggest this. It's also a really good way of, if you're in a business meeting and you know what you want, but you have to convince other people, but not in a sales type of way, because you don't want to do that, on a human type of level, why it's so important to you and why you think this will work. And then you can actually get into a conversation with someone, and not being that it's almost like a fight, oh, I have to really stand my ground on this, but you can have more of a conversation. So if you want to go after the job you want, if you want to go after the relationship you want, if you want to go after the friendships you want, this book it will help you and guide you. For real. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Those were my top 5 books. And then again on order. On number 1, we have A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. On number 2, The Alchemist. On number 3, we have Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. On number 4, we have The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F by Mark Manson. And on number 5, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So if you want to know where you can order these books, I will make sure that there's an Amazon in the link below or a bol.com for my Dutch people so they know where to get these books. And I'll promise you, you won't regret reading these books because they will change your life. And to be fair, they're not that thick, they're not that difficult. So I think you will be done in a jiff and it will really enlighten you. So thank you once again for being on my channel. Like, subscribe, comment below what you think of it and what you'd like to know so we can have a conversation. Make sure you also click on the little bell for the notification to make sure that you know when my videos are coming. It's now every week on the Tuesday, but I might be posting more if you guys would like to see more. And by that note, I'll see you next week.